As artificial intelligence continues its rapid advancement, one area sparking significant interest and innovation is generative AI. At its core, generative AI refers to a class of algorithms and models designed to create content, imitate human like behaviors, and generate new information autonomously. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Analytics Insight podcast, where we talk about exciting innovations in the tech space. And I'm your host, Priya Deolani. Now, Gen AI systems are capable of producing original, contextually relevant output on their own. The significance of Gen AI lies in its potential to revolutionize how we interact with technology, create content, and even solve complex problems. To help us understand the complexities of this evolving field in order to grasp both its current status and future implications, we have Deepak Pargaonkar, Vice President of Solution Engineering at Salesforce India. Hi, Deepak, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good, Priya. Thank you so much for having me over here. I hope you're also doing good.
Yes, I'm doing good too. Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you with us. And I think today we are going to share some exciting insights regarding generative AI, which is what, of
Absolutely.
course, the most talked elephant in the room currently, I would say, in the field of technology. So, I mean, we all are aware about Salesforce and its solutions and specialization. But, if you can just tell us more about Salesforce and also about your role and your contribution towards the company.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, as you said, Priya, most of you or many of you been knowing about Salesforce. So, obviously, Salesforce has been in the journey of innovation over a period of last 24 years or 25 years for now. And we started with the enterprise cloud computing company, and we got our CRM capabilities for our customers. And that was the innovation of that time, wherein we told the organizations that you don't need to invest in hardware, infrastructure, but what you just need to do is leverage the capability over the internet. And that's where the journey of Salesforce started. Now, as we look at Salesforce today is CRM plus data plus AI company, which essentially means we help organizations do everything around their customers, which is acquiring the customer, serving the customer in a right way in this new age of technology led service offerings, as well as doing the marketing with the customer, help customers buy online through the commerce solution. We also help organizations manage their data as well as generate the capabilities of analytics and intelligence out of that data. And of course, today we are talking artificial intelligence. Salesforce has been on the journey of artificial intelligence for the last decade or so. So that's what Salesforce today is in a nutshell: CRM plus data plus AI organization. Now, talking about me, I've been with Salesforce for quite some time now. It's been my 12th year at Salesforce, and my responsibility and role is to lead the solution engineering function, which is exciting part of understanding what the customers are looking for, what digital transformations could be done by our customers using Salesforce solutions, and appropriately provide them with those capabilities and the solutions. So that's a little bit about me, me as well as Salesforce, Priya.
Great. Thank you so much, Deepak, for sharing the entire journey of Salesforce, how Salesforce started, and what it is currently right now, as well as your role and contribution towards the company. Moving ahead, I think the rapid progress in generative AI has fueled widespread optimism about its potential to transform business processes and operations while unlocking new opportunities which were previously hindered by economic or technological constraints. Now, for example, we have OpenAI, which we call as ChatGPT, a conversational web application based on a generative language which gathered a user base of 1 million within just 5 days. So it kind of highlights the rapid adoption of such technologies and how humans or people like us are more excited about using such technologies. So I wanted to understand what are your views on the current landscape of generative AI?
That's brilliant. And honestly speaking, Priya, it's a conversation that is potentially very comprehensive conversation. But let's try to have a summary conversation. As you rightly
Right.
say, that generative AI has brought the capability of generating the content. It essentially could be the text, it essentially could be video, images, etc. And all of us in our personal lives have started experiencing that. And whenever I do any conversations with the customers or whenever I do any interactions with any audience, I usually ask the question on, has anybody used Chat GPT? But that has now become a very cliched question because everyone has done that.
Mhm.
We have used it to write the
Yep.
essays, we have used it to write probably resumes and many other sophisticated letters, etc., etc. So, in our personal lives, we kind of are used to leveraging Gen AI with different platforms. OpenAI is one platform, and there could be multiple platforms that we are using in our personal lives to achieve some results. Now, let's look at what's happening with the businesses. Now, is that capability required by the businesses? Absolutely, yes. Let's talk about some examples. Now, I am a marketer, and if I am doing the digital marketing, then one of the things that I need to do is content creation. And if technology can augment my efficiency and my creativity by providing me the ability to generate the content very, very quickly and also have a lot of creativity around that, that would surely add to my efficiency and productivity at an organizational level. Let's look at if I'm doing any product launch and I need to generate my product documentation for a quick launch of that particular product and bring it online as soon as possible. With Gen AI, marketers or the sellers can achieve some of these things very quickly. Let's look at some other areas also. See, I'm a service executive and I'm working on interacting with the customers. What happens is that generally, when I have to answer customers' questions, I have to go through something called as knowledge base, search, get those documents, data collected, and then talk to the customers about the outcome. However, imagine if someone is quickly going through that, bringing in front of me the summary information, which I can then have conversation with the customer in the best possible documented output that adds to my efficiency and also productivity. So there are several use cases. Me as a seller, I always want to write the best possible communication, maybe on email to my prospects, my customers, and if it happens to be some senior stakeholder, I need to be extra cautious about generating pretty good content. So Gen AI can help me achieve that. So the point over here is in the personal lives, all of us have started experiencing it. In professional lives, businesses also have immense possibilities and potential of leveraging Gen AI for several use cases. I spoke about very few of them just to start with, but as we build the conversation today, can talk about multiple use cases, multiple areas where the impact can be made by Gen AI. So, yes, to answer your question, what's happening, how is it progressing, what's the general view, possibilities are immense. As per Salesforce survey, what we have also seen is almost all the technology leaders are thinking about Gen AI based initiatives, are conceptualizing, are building the use cases which will be relevant for their organization. Of course, when it comes to the businesses, there are certain other dynamics also that the businesses are working on, which we at Salesforce are also working with our customers. And I'll talk about that in a jiffy. But yeah, this is how typically the Gen AI space is evolving. The possibilities are immense, use cases are evolving. At the same time, the development on the Gen AI capability itself, which is like large language models, and the capabilities around that are also developing at a very brisk pace. Organizations, the tech organizations are working on that. And across the board, is comprehensive work that is happening. Imagine a developer. Developer can leverage Gen AI to write a code also, and then augment that by going through the code that has been generated by the Gen AI technology. What it means is that efficiency improvement and capability enhancement. That's what is happening in the world of Gen AI as we are speaking, Priya.
Great. I think that was quite impressive, I must say. And like you said, I think there are diverse business use cases that generative AI offers, and I think businesses need to capitalize on that. And I think every business domain is ready to implement artificial intelligence or machine learning because it allows them to stay competitive as well as exceed customer expectations. Now, this new wave of generative AI and Gen AI systems, they have the potential to address the challenges that artificial intelligence or machine learning, and they would be able to give more opportunities in terms of how industries can transform themselves. Now, I think to be an industry leader in 5 years, companies need to have like a clear and a bit compelling generative AI strategy today. Now, we spoke about different business use cases. So, moving ahead, I wanted to understand how do you think generative AI can transform business operations by automating tasks and optimizing processes and driving efficiency, just like you mentioned. If you could highlight more such examples, like you said, and probably we can get a more better understanding of how it can revolutionize a business transfer processes as well.
Absolutely. So let's look at the stakeholders in the businesses. Okay, let's take certain examples. Today, there are a lot of financial services organizations which are into the business of lending. What's the lending business? We are providing the loan to the consumers or to the borrowers. Now, let's look at the process. What happens in that? And there are different types of loans. There's home loan, there's personal loan, or there's consumer durable loan, or vehicle loan, or whatever it is, right? Now, what the lender needs to do, the lender needs to do is ensure that the borrower has a right credibility, credit rating, so that the money that you are lending is safe and the borrower will actually return that. To put it very simply, there are certain roles in this process, and one of the roles is called underwriter role. Okay. Now, underwriter, what she or he needs to do is whenever underwriter is working on, say, a loan application, there is a lot of data and information that an underwriter needs to go through to take a decision of whether borrower is worthy of providing the loan or not. Let me give you an example. One simple thing is CIBIL report. Now, that CIBIL report provides a lot of information to the lending organization and also to the underwriter about what this consumer has been doing in the world of their own finances in terms of have they done the right repayments, what's the history on credit card repayments, the bank balances, etc., etc. Plus, there are a lot of information pieces depending on the type of loan can come from various sources, including the sources like account aggregators, etc. Now, this is a voluminous data. Imagine if technology like GenAI helps underwriter by quickly going through, sifting through various pieces of documents and generating a very classic summary of what an underwriter would be looking for in a crisp format. Child just saying that, say, Deepak Pargaonkar is the borrower. Okay, this person has been repaying all his credit card bills on time, has a CIBIL score of XYZ, which is worth lending money, and some other things like the history of bank balances, etc., etc. Now, this particular summary generation saves immense amount of time for that underwriter. So that underwriter's efficiency improves. What in turn is happening is the accuracy of approvals of the loan improves. At the same time, the number of loans that a lending organization can work on improves and increases. That adds to super efficiency and also the top line impact for the organization in the lending business. There are various other examples, right? Say I'm as a salesperson, I need to create quotation. I have information residing in multiple places. So what typically a quotation will need? Quotation will need product information, pricing information, and some other data about terms and conditions, etc. And there probably is some communication also that needs to be generated. Generative AI technology can help salespeople by going through necessary information pieces about pricing, product, and various other things, and create an appropriate output, which can be sent across very, very quickly to the customer. What it means is it actually is improving the efficiency of that sales function in turn providing a lot of abilities and opportunities for the organization to improve their conversation with the customers as well as improve their sales. So, for every possible persona at an operational level, it will enhance the efficiency. At the same time, let's look at the leaders. Typically, what the leaders will do is look at overall analysis of their business or analytics in the business by multiple dimensions. So for example, if I'm a sales leader, I would look for, oh, how are my business working? How are my product lines growing? Which region is doing well for me? Which product line is giving me more profits? What's happening with my salespeople? Who is doing better job? Where do I need to intervene? Now, these are all the areas which typically leaders will look for. Today, when they are having analytical tools, they have to look at the tools, infer that analysis, and then take decisions. Imagine that you can have conversations with your analytical capabilities. You can simply ask the questions like, which of my products are doing best in Western India? And that conversational capability is driven through Gen AI, which will then start giving the output in an appropriate format to that senior leader so that leader can start taking appropriate decisions. What it is doing, it's actually allowing the leaders to leverage this Gen AI capability and improve their ability to consume the analytics and then take the right decisions. So, what do I say is there are multiple areas at all levels across the industry. It might be financial services, it might be manufacturing, it might be retail industry or consumer goods industry. In each and every area, generative AI technology can help enhance the consumer experience because one of the things that Gen AI can bring to table is intelligent bots, which offers 24 by 7 ability for the consumers to interact with the organization or with the brand that they would like to interact with. Now, this bot, with the help of Gen AI capabilities, can actually have fair bit of an intelligent conversation with the consumer. So it adds to the consumer experience, consumer efficiency, as well as organizations' ability from top line perspective, efficiency, productivity across the stakeholders. So, several use cases and several possibilities, Priya, whereby Gen AI can impact organizational capabilities.
Right. I think your response clearly point out that Gen AI's proficiency extends across a spectrum of applications and redefining how businesses operate and how they can enhance customer satisfaction and even enhance the overall business efficiency. Now, moving ahead, we spoke about how it can benefit businesses, but I wanted to touch upon the other aspect or the other side of the coin of Gen AI. Now, if we talk about Chat GPT, for example, now we all know that it excels in content generation and it's a powerful tool for crafting diverse and engaging materials. Now, whether it's creating marketing content or blog articles or writing an email or product description, I think Gen AI can give a high quality and a contextually relevant content, which can be quite supportive for all professionals alike. But having said that, I think as gradually Gen AI is maturing and probably developing, it is also exploring some of the innovative aspects of a business also. So I think it can now create images also. It can also provide you related music. So I think it's also unlocking innovation and creativity as well. So how do you think generative AI can fuel innovation and creativity within organizations as well?
See, as I said, that it surely will start with improving the efficiency as well as productivity within the organization. There are two parts to
Right.
this story. One part is Gen AI itself providing the ability, and you gave certain examples, very appropriate examples of content generation, the image generations, and all of that stuff, right? Now, apart from that, one thing that we have been discussing is how Gen AI is actually impacting the efficiency in the organization. So, what does that mean? Say, if I have 8 hours in a day with me in my organization, there are a lot of operational things which probably GenAI is taking care of. So what does it mean is that I am there whereby I can do more creative jobs as a human being. And that's one of the most important thing that GenAI can bring to the table. One obviously is, as you rightly said, that it can create the content. In fact, when I was talking to one of my customers, they actually said that in their innovation department, they actually were taking help of GenAI to generate images for their new product launches. Obviously, it's not that those are all the images that they will directly use, but obviously, GenAI can do that. But at the same time, when GenAI technology is allowing you to help with operational jobs, your people, your employees can actually do more creative work. They can think about strategies. Maybe a marketer can think more about, oh, okay, for my new product launch, then what should be my strategy to appeal to the customer? Which channels should I be using? What kind of creatives can I think of? Because I'm allowed to leverage the time that is available with me. That is the way. One is the technology itself will be helping you to drive certain outcomes, which possibly will be in the realms of creative, but at the same time, it allows you to free up employee base from the mundane and operational jobs, which will help them do more creative jobs. That is the way in which the organizations are thinking about leveraging GenAI capabilities. However, as we progress, Priya, I would surely want to talk about some of the other important aspects about GenAI that the organizations are thinking about, which is about the safety, the trust, the security, and all other aspects. But we will build into that conversation. But yeah, this is the way in which GenAI can fuel the creativity and innovation within the organization.
Right, right. Sure. I think we will definitely talk about the business ethics and the trust factors when we are implementing generative AI. While we spoke about innovation and improving the efficiency, I think a lot of companies are already developing custom generative AI model applications by fine-tuning them with the proprietary data. And a lot of companies are also coming up with their own generative AI initiatives. What are some ways that Salesforce is using GenAI in its solutions? And if you can share some innovative use case and Salesforce offerings that probably are going to be surrounded by GenAI.
Brilliant. See, Salesforce as an organization, we have been at the forefront of AI for almost a decade now. We started our journey into the AI in 2014, and we came out with our first predictive AI capabilities. And those predictive AI capabilities essentially were helping the sales, service, marketing, and other functions to do some specific things like the lead scoring, the opportunity insight, the account insights, case classification for service executives, and many other aspects. Now, as we started building our GenAI capability also, we now are baking in the capabilities of Gen AI in each and every of our application. What do we mean by that? And classically, we call it as the in the flow of the work. Say a service executive is helping customers to address certain questions. And initially, I spoke about certain things of knowledge base, whereby it helps service executive to call out the right information from the knowledge base and various other sources. That is, it is helping service agents with the replies to the customer's conversations. We'll call that as capability of service replies. Then one of the important aspects in the service function is whereby after the call or the conversation with the consumer is ending, there are summaries of those conversations which need to be created, which is vital for every service organization. So we are bringing that capability of case summarization. Now, these are all the capabilities where otherwise agent would be spending certain precious minutes after completing the conversation or during the conversation. GenAI that Salesforce is bringing for the customers, helping the service organizations become more productive, more efficient, thereby enhancing the customer satisfaction. We are bringing in GenAI capabilities in the sales application to help salespeople write appropriate communication, work on their quotations. Same way for marketers to do the content generation, what we also call it as a segment generation. These are pretty important things for the marketers to do. When we talk about the commerce, we are helping the people who are running commerce engagements quickly create the landing pages so they can launch their commerce sites very, very quickly. So, in each and every area, Salesforce is bringing the capability that helps every stakeholder. I already have spoken about the capability that it brings for the developers. People who are working on Salesforce applications, which is developers, they can leverage the GenAI capability that Salesforce offers, write appropriate code, or at least seek the help from the Salesforce GenAI capability to generate the right code. So in every area, Salesforce is bringing GenAI in its applications. And we pretty much launched our Einstein Copilot, which allows the organizations, as you were rightly saying, the organizations are working on writing their own GenAI capabilities. Thereby, what they are doing, they're writing their own prompts, they're working on the sources of the data within the organization, and we are working with those customers by providing them the capability of Einstein Copilot along with the data cloud so that organizations can do a lot of innovations on top of this platform. Yes, this is the way in which we are developing our GenAI stack and capability through our Einstein One platform, which is AI ready, and through which we are delivering Einstein for various functions, as well as Einstein Copilot for the organizations to innovate on GenAI.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for helping our listeners understand about how Salesforce is leveraging Gen AI and how they're planning to offer solutions that capitalize on Gen AI capabilities. Like earlier, we were talking about the pros, and I think while the upsides are enormous, Gen AI doesn't come without risks, and it also poses ethical, privacy, and bias-related challenges. And ensuring transparency, accountability, and fairness in AI-generated content remains a big priority. Additionally, alongside, I think addressing concerns about data privacy, intellectual property rights, and societal implications requires ongoing research, regulation, as well as responsible AI development practices. So, I guess earlier you wanted to talk about how we can navigate the intersection of generative AI and business ethics, and can we discuss more around the importance of the human loop in the generative AI outputs?
Absolutely. I mean, this particular area that is on top priority for each and every business, as well as every
Right.
business leader. Now, whenever we talk to any business leader, one of the things that is part of our conversation is how can I trust the output that is generated by AI, Gen AI? Can we straight away use that in our communication, either with our customers or internally in our organizational function? How trusted would that be? How trusted we can be about the data that it is using? At the same time, we have our customers' data, which is our topmost priority. And our models learning on our customers' data, are those data going to be shared publicly? There are several concerns, but at the same time, you also spoke about the ethics part of that. You also spoke about the human loop part of that. And these are all the areas on which we are working, Salesforce as an organization. And how we're working, we are bringing something called as trust layer, right? And also the data cloud offering. Now, what do I mean by that? The first part is about how trusted is the output that is getting generated, right? So let's look at which is the most trusted source of data. So, what typically is the most trusted source of the data for the organization? It is their own internal data, because that is their own data. They know that it is trustworthy data. It might be about their consumers' transactions. It might be about their consumers' interactions with them. It might be information about their products. It might be information about their pricing, employees, whatever. That is the data which is most trusted for them. So we are telling organizations that you should be working on the data that you trust the most. And that's where you consolidate all of data in offering called as data cloud. Now, today the data is generated at various places. Very simple thing like if I am browsing the website or I am using mobile app of a company, that itself is generating the data. Simple browsing, engagement, transactions. There will be a lot of digital sources, a lot of physical sources, transactional sources, the ordering systems, immense amount of data that gets generated, and all of this data consolidates in data cloud. So that becomes your really trusted source of data that you can work on. But at the same time, what's most important is there will have to be some data that will have to be fetched from the public domain, right? Say information about certain things. But in that particular case, what needs to be taken care of is when some information needs to be shared in public domain about organizational assets like their customer data, that should be safeguarded. So in trust layer, what we do, we essentially ensure that the data, when it goes out for fetching some information, is encrypted. Say a first name, last name, that is anonymized and sent across. And then when the information comes back, to ensure that that particular information doesn't have any toxicity. We actually have toxicity detection capabilities when the data is coming back. So the trust layer ensures there is no toxicity, and there's absolutely the sharing of information, which is not done publicly about the organizational asset. So, what we are telling the organizations is first, data. What is the most trusted data? Is your own data, which lies across the board. Get that data all consolidated in this data cloud. And on top of that, then leverage the Gen AI models. And there are pretty much a lot of models today, right? Including the OpenAI models and other Anthropic and various other models that the organizations can leverage. At the same time, what we call it as a BYOM, bring your own model. You build your own model and bring your own model and use that particular model also. So we are telling organizations and helping organizations on creating trusted source of data and ensuring that Gen AI actually is creating and giving the right content which can be shared with the consumer. But at the same time, human in loop. Say a response comes back to the service executive, we always ensure that that service executive is the one who looks at that response first and then sends it to the customer. And this particular information is generated by Gen AI, is also something which is prompted to the stakeholder who is looking at that information. So we are creating a lot of importance around trust and data for our customer organizations or prospect organizations. At the same time, when you talk about the ethics part of that, the ethics part needs to start right in the development itself. At an organizational level, Salesforce actually has put certain guardrails on how we even develop our GenAI capabilities. There are very specific guidelines. There is a leader who looks at all these ethical AI capabilities, and then only they are delivered to the market. So through trust layer, through data cloud, and operational AI ethical practices, we are ensuring that we are delivering to our customers most trusted and safe way of working and delivering and leveraging Gen AI capabilities. So that's how Priya, we are actually working in the market with our customers.
Great, great. I think that definitely was a very comprehensive answer, helping me as well as the listeners understand that why it is important to have a human loop in all of our systems and not just generative AI, I believe. And I also believe that this is just the beginning. Organizations or employees and even customers or layman people like us become more familiar with applications based on Gen AI technology. I think the technology will become more capable and versatile, and I think we can expect a whole new level of different applications that can help again redefine how businesses can be done. So one last question for you, and that would be, how do you foster innovation across the organization? Or are there any steps that you would like to suggest in terms of how one can effectively adopt Gen AI?
But that's a very relevant question. While
Yeah.
working on the use cases, working on the models, working on the trust, as well as working on the data elements are pretty important parts. But at the same time,
Mhm.
as you very rightly pointed out, Priya, is the enablement and continuous learning, training within the organization. So we have to
Right.
almost AI enable the entire organization because there will be a change in the way they are working. So, how Gen AI can augment their capabilities, what capabilities of Gen AI they will be actually leveraging, educating all of them about that, having creating the infrastructure about how to use Gen AI in each and every function, then having the right skills to train people on Gen AI capabilities, on building them as well as leveraging them. There will have to be structured approach of organization to leverage the Gen AI capabilities, not only in the world of technology domain, but employee skilling, continuous training, continuous enablement, and change management. And we advocate our customers to keep these also as important part of their AI strategy, which essentially ensures that the AI strategy and the initiatives are successful in the organization.
Right. I think that's very important to have a systematic approach. And I believe that a generative AI is much more than just an advanced technological system that uses machine learning or artificial intelligence. I think along with the predictive analytics and intelligent chatbots, Gen AI can personalize customer experiences or automate different processes, optimize supply chains, and I think much more. And we've already discussed the use cases. So, however, at the same time, I think organizations must establish clear guidelines and set limitations on how to use Gen AI ethically and to what extent. So, I think the future of generative AI holds promise in terms of advancing human AI collaboration, creative augmentation, and intelligent automation. As and when this technology continues to evolve, we can use or witness more of ethical frameworks and user-centric design principles will play an important role in shaping its trajectory and maximizing its positive impact on the society. Well, thank you so much, Deepak. It was a pleasure having you with us on a podcast. I think we had a very insightful conversation in terms of how generative AI should be leveraged and what are some of the significant benefits that can offer for businesses across different industries.
Well, thank you so much, Priya. It was great to have interaction with you. Pretty interesting times,
Yeah.
and all of us will
Yes.
surely leverage that Gen AI capabilities. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. So this is for our listeners. Stay tuned for upcoming podcast, and you can view and listen all our previous podcasts on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.